Thank you for being here today. I'm Pastor Elias. I'm the spiritual care manager here in South Sacramento. And it's a privilege for me to introduce you Mrs. Herb. She is an accountant by profession, so she holds a BS in accounting and also an MBA in financial management. But she is a passionate shaman, and she has been able to train others, so she oversees that as well, and she made herself available for the community to educate folks and institutions about the Hmong culture, and especially about shamanism and the implication for the care that people need from her ethnic group. Also, we have as a speaker Dr. Pashira Lo. She's on here, but she wants to see the presentation herself. And she's an adult psychiatrist. And Pashira also have worked with shamans in the past, and particularly through her own research work in medical school and in her residency. Her mother is a practitioner, but also her father is engaged with Christianity, so she can see those words. So would you please welcome them and give them a hand? Mr. Shah, Mr. Kerr is in the back. He will help with the PowerPoint, so then we can have a good flow.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, everyone, for having us. And it is an honor to be here to share a little bit about the Hmong Shamanism. I want to thank you, the pastor, for having us here. Before I go into the Hmong Shamanism, I want to give you guys a brief history of the Hmong people. Some of you may already know who the Hmong people are, some of you may already know who the Hmong people are, but those of you that are not familiar with the Hmong people, we live in China for thousands of years. In the early 1800s, the Hmong people were faced with political persecution and decrease on soil fertility, as well as the growing population there. And so it pressured them to migrate to Southeast Asia, the mountain range of Vietnam, Laos, Thailand, and Burma. And during the Vietnam War, the Hmong people was recruited by the American CIA to help them fight against the communists. After 1975, the communists take over Laos. The Hmong people flee Laos to Thailand, refugee. From there on, after that, the Hmong people resettled to many parts of the world, like France, Canada, Australia, and in the US. The majority of the Hmong people are settled here in the United States. In fact, California had one of the largest Hmong populations here, and Sacramento is has the second largest Hmong population in the state of California. Now that you know a little bit about the Hmong history, I'm going to talk a little bit about the Hmong culture in regard to the health aspect of it. Hmong peoples are very private, so if there are going to be any medical examinations on any private parts of the body, it is important that the care provider sit and talk and discuss exactly what the procedure is going to be like. And due to language barrier as well as medical terminology, it is important that you show them with the visual aids exactly you need to exam. This will help them understand the procedure. Not only that, trust is also a very hard thing for the Hmong people to do also, because they're being traumatized by war and prosecution throughout their history. So it's important that the care provider also recognize that Hmongs is experiencing either themselves or they witness killing, murders, and rapes, and drowning, starvation, discrimination throughout their history. So they'll take some time to trust. So it's important to trust, build that trust between the patients and their family and the care provider. Hmong patients, if they're hospitalized, you will see that there's a lot of people visiting them. And sometimes a bigger space might be needed, you know, because we are very close kin. Everybody want to come and pay the respect and visit them and comfort them and support them. In the Hmong cultures, we also practice Hmong herbal medicines or remedy to help for conditions such as cold, headache, ache, and even fertility. We practice the physical healing techniques, which includes massage, cleaning, spooning, and cupping. This technique is used to release stress, tensions, and toxins in the body. And it will leave marks like bruises and redness in the individual's body. For children, we use hard-boiled egg, peel off the egg while it's still warm. You rub around the baby's body to release tensions and toxins, And saying that the Hmong people is very spiritual also. So you will see a lot of Hmong people wearing bloodstream tie in the forms of different colors, whether it's red, white, black. Sometimes they twist together and they wear it, or can be wear individually, white and red. These are the two colors that we wear mostly individual. And this is where to protect evil spirits, also for health and religious purposes. If conditions, if the Hmong people or person experience unusual health issues, or if their condition get worse, they seek for a shaman's help. And depending on the diagnosis of this health issues, it would require a shaman to do a ceremony. And because of this culture, we believe in animism. And animism is a belief that everything existing in the physical world has a spirit. And the physical world and the spiritual world coexist. And it's inhabited with varieties of different spirits. So the Hmong people believe in different types of spirit, for example, like the ancestral spirit, the house spirit, and nature spirit, as well as evil spirit. Now, all these spirits do cause issues in the individual body or their well-being. And so ancestral spirit are usually the family member that deceived. And then the house spirit, Hmong people believe that we have spirits on four corners of the house. In the house, we also, in certain area of the house, we do have spirits also. Like we have spirits who guide our door and protect us, making sure that no unwanted spirits or negative energy or bad spirit enter into the house. So this is the house spirit. And then nature spirit are spirits of the river, spirits of the lake, mountain, and trees, nature spirits. And then evil spirits, which will be just bad spirit that cause illness in the physical world as well as the problem in the spiritual world. And because the Hmong people believe that the physical world and the spiritual world coexist, that stay true to the human body. Now we believe that the physical body and the soul are one. And once the spirit is lost or it's been captured by evil spirits or other types of spirits out there, it will slowly, the physical body will get weak and it will cause physical illness in the body. So because of this belief, the Hmong people believe that it is important to fix the spiritual side as much as the physical side in order for one to be healthy and harmony. Because of this belief, we practice Hmong Shamanism in our culture. And what is what is shamanism? Shamanism is it's viewed as a communication way between the spiritual world and the physical world. Shamanism is a practice by Hmong shamans, and Hmong shamans mediate between the physical world and the spiritual world for the purpose of healing. To say that we also, the Hmong shamans can be either a woman or a man. Not everybody can be shamans. A shaman has to be chosen by a spirit, the shaman spirit. And the shaman don't look for the shaman spirit. It's the shaman spirit that's looking for the shamans. So for a shaman, in order for them to become a shaman, they experience a great length of illness, and many of them experience life and death experience before they can master and become a shaman. And the shamans, even though we practice shamanism in our culture, the Hmong people do recognize that modern healthcare is beneficial. However, they still seek for diagnosis and treatments through the Hmong shamans before they seeking for modern healthcare. That's just the culture, and we just everybody just practice that way. And then nature spirit, we believe that in nature spirit, it caused physical and psychological, as well as nightmare and sometimes even death to the individual. So we perform a lot of shamanic healing because of issues like this. Hmong people also do a lot of ancestral ceremony and natural spirits ceremony. Ancestral ceremony, Hmong believe that we continue to perform shamanic healings to the ancestral. They will protect us from evil spirits and from dangers or natural disaster. And because we believe, because of this belief, we also, in shamanism, in the Hmong culture, we also believe that hostile spirits, spell, curse, and violation of taboo can also cause illness to the individual body. So as far as taboo in the Hmong community, we take it very seriously. And wandering soul can also be a cause of illness in the individual body. That if the person is experienced in sickness such as tiring, don't have any appetites, sleeping all the time, and depressed, a lot of the times, because their soul's been either captured by evil spirits or has been wandered away somewhere and cannot find its way back home or to the body, and this will cause illness to the individual. And if this was diagnosed, a shaman is required to come in and perform ceremony. So now, what kind of ceremony did shamans do, or what are these ceremonies? We have, these are just a couple of type of ceremonies that I will mention to you today. We will do, if we diagnose like earlier that the soul, it has wandered away, and this is why the individual experienced this physical health issue, then the shamans would do a ceremony called soul calling. This is basically just a small ceremony standing at the door with some flowers, incense, and candles, and call with their with shamans' equipment, and they will call the soul back into the individual body. As time goes by, this individual will feel better. We can do that for blessing as well, or healing. And for blessing, a lot of the times we do it for wedding and New Year. Wedding, it's important when somebody get married and this soul calling happened in the husband's side of the family, because now the wife is now living with the family, and they want to make sure that the soul know to come to this new family now, and not staying with the parents' family. If that happens, it does cause the wife to be sick. So they will do a soul calling to let the house spirits know that this is a new person in the family now, it's not a stranger, but it's a wife of this individual, and also let the ancestor know that this is now a member of the family, so they can protect and bless these two couples. New Year, every year we do a soul calling, because not everybody do soul calling every now and then. So some family may not do any soul calling until the end of New Year. So it's very important that during the ceremony, we call all the soul in case if the family member, their soul may have wandered to the dead world, wander off with friends and relatives that passed ages ago, you know. So we will do this soul calling at the end, the New Year, and make sure everybody's home, the community or the family, relative, friends comes, we celebrate and we bless this family for the upcoming year. Healing, soul wandering, or a soul that you wonder sometimes because, again, they either have been traumatized, they've been scared of, they see things that they jerked at, you know, traumatic thing that happened to them, and the soul may have lost their causes, illness. It will require, again, a soul calling and reincarnating. So the Hmong believe that when we pass, we believe in reincarnation. So we believe there's life after death. And if the soul is reincarnated while the individual person is still alive, this body will slowly deteriorate and will die eventually. And if the diagnosis by the shaman say, yes, it's because this soul is reincarnated, then they need to do a special soul calling. And this special soul calling needs to be done like from late in the evening, 11:30 to 12 o'clock in order to be in order to work. So it has to be done that if the soul is already being reincarnated to other things or someone while the physical body is still undergoing.
The New Year that you mentioned is the Chinese New Year or the
Oh,
Western?
it's so the Hmong also have our own little calendar. We don't follow the Chinese calendar. Our New Year fall in the end of November. So every year on the last week of November, the Hmong people, every house will do soul calling, and we will go from one house to the others to do soul calling.
Okay.
Yeah. So we actually had a little. Our calendar is actually a little bit different than the Chinese calendar. And then the second one is the shamanic trance healing. This, we call it Waneng, and this is a very big ceremony. When we do this, it's an all-day thing. You know, it's like, it will take the ceremony, the actual ceremony, usually range from 2 hours or 3 hours, in some cases even longer. So once you go there, your day is it, you know, that's pretty much it, because that's just how the Hmong community is. You go in, and then you talk, and then you eat breakfast, and after you eat breakfast, you do your ceremony, and then after that, I think you did a lunch, and then by the time you're done, it's the end of the day. So this ceremony it's an all-day event. And what type of when do we actually do this shamanic trance healing? We do it for blessing, and again, like I said, for fertility and for newborn. We also do it for healing also. And for fertility, blessing is if couples marry for a period of times and they can't conceive, a lot of the time it's because they're not compatible in the spiritual side. And their energies are not lined up correctly, and it requires a shaman to go into the spiritual world to be in this trance. And then line up their energy, making sure that they are compatible, and then the shaman will go to heaven and ask the Creator to bless this two couple with children. So that's for that. And then I will talk about healing portion of it. The healing we would do. People become ill and depressed. A lot of the times your depressions cause you to ill. Also, why are you depressed? Your soul may have been captured or may have been trauma. You may have some trauma in the past that causes you to feel depressed and ill. And also the Hmong people believe that everyone who comes to this life also have a book of life. So meaning it may not be when you are ill, it may not be because your soul's been captured, but your time is up. okay? And when that happened, if the shaman diagnosed that, yes, you know, it seems like you're coming to the end of your time, the shamans would do a lengthy shamanic trance to go into the spiritual world and go to the creator. And because shaman has able to understand the spiritual language, able to communicate, able to negotiate and fight for the right of the individuals, they will have to convince the creator that it is worth it to extend this life, you know, to this person. And once they negotiate, these are done, they will come back and eventually this person just be better. There are times that we won't be able to extend it anymore. That's just how life works. And so if we can't extend it anymore, then that's just the news that we have to let the family know, and they just have to enjoy every day they have. You know, that's just the reality, you know. And then, so we also do, what's it? Oh, preventive. Preventive, we do this for people, for example, if they're traveling out of the country, a lot of the time they want us to do a shamanic trance healing to cleanse them, making sure that they don't expect any unexpected illness on the way during their traveling, or there won't be any roadblock that will cause their trip. And also, we also do this for major surgery. For example, if a patient is having a kidney transplant, we would do a shamanic trance healing pre and then one after. The pre one, the Hmong people believe that once someone passed, you need to have everything with you. All your parts needs to go with you in order for you to reincarnate. And so because this person is receiving a kidney from someone who's already deceased, it is important that a ceremony being done not only for the recipient but for the donor as well. And for the donor, what this shamanic trance would do is would let him know and pay him debt for the kidney for this individual, the recipient, and let this donor know that now this person no longer owes you any debt. Not only that, because you did such a great deed when you here on the physical world, you earned the right to go and reincarnate without, you know, getting a new kidney. And that means we actually give this person a written paper sign, and so that this person can take it to heaven, and when they're ready to reincarnate it, they will be judged that you don't have this, you don't have this, and they will pull out the paper and they will say, I have the right to bypass that and get a new parts, and then this person will bypass that and will move on. If they don't have this, the Hmong people believe that this individual will cause illness back into the living. So that's why you would notice that a lot of the Hmong people will not donate. They don't donate the organs because of this belief, or they don't do blood donation either because of this belief in the Hmong culture. And then they do another one after the surgery. So this part was for the donor. For the recipient, the pre one was to open up her energy, open up all her blood vessels, helping her body heals, and also accepting this new kidney so that her body will not have any reject or minimal reject. And this is what the pre is done for. The post one is to make sure when this person is under general anesthesia, this person come home, making sure that it's almost like dead, you know. So when they come back home, their soul actually come home with them and not staying at the hospital, not still sitting in the operation room. So that's why they do a post for major surgery. And
this is her. I know that you have more to offer, but it's 25 minutes already.
Yeah.
So only we can have Dr. Law, and then we can have time for questions, and then you can incorporate what you have left.
Yeah, so I think that, and then the last one is just cleansing. We just do cleansing to people who need new house and business and individual cleansing, and that's it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Don't go. Don't go.
I'll be here, I'll be here.
Thank you.
I'm okay, I'll just press.
Okay.